Shalom, guys. It's been a while. I have recently just been, I've been going through a season, and it's caused me to recluse back. It seems like this season has really lasted for the better part of about 2 years. So there's that. Anyways, I wanted to reach out to you guys because I've noticed some things going on. I've noticed, the ideas and topic of Torah have become a quite the contentious topic as of late. So I want to touch on this. Naturally, this channel name is Tactically Torah. Suffice to say, Torah is something that is important, right? But I want to talk about this in the sense of, well, I suck at beating around the bush, so I'm just going to say it. If you are an individual who keeps Torah, cool. If you in any way, shape, form, or fashion speak to another in the sense that you are better than someone in the quote-unquote Big C Christian church, frickin' terminology I hate, how about that? Way to despise your beginnings, even when the word says not to. I would submit to you that the word even says you have lost your first love. Where have you first come to a knowledge and understanding and love of Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah, in said Big C Christian church? So getting to this idea of, if you in any way, shape, form, or fashion are speaking to another thinking that you are better than someone in the church, some Christian, because you keep Torah, you are wrong. If you in any way, shape, form, or fashion are receiving or feeling like you have justification and righteousness because you keep Torah, you are wrong. We are not to boast in anything. Our righteousness is but filthy rags unto the Most High. Let that sink in. There is no justification in Torah. The word says that no man comes to the Father but through Him, but through Jesus, through Christ, the Son of the living God. It is by belief that you have become free. Okay? Now, that is not to diminish the idea of John 14:15, perfect example. Jesus' words, if you love me, obey my commands. But my commands are not something that has been new, but they are the same commands of old. Okay? Right? He's referring to the Torah. But more importantly, he's not referring to any sacrificial law or anything like that. He's not. He just isn't. He's referring to the fact that all the Torah and the prophets hang on two commands: loving God and loving people. If you can't do that, you're wrong. You need to reevaluate. Love God, love people. Point blank, end of story. If you love me, then you will do this. You will love God and love people. It's no wonder in Matthew chapter 24, Jesus says at the end of the age, the love of, due to lawlessness, the love of many will grow cold. Why? Because all of the law and the prophets, the Torah and the prophets, are established on two commands: loving God and loving people. quite frankly, that's why the world looks the way it does, because people don't love anymore. People think that love is about happiness and a feeling, when both of those are fleeting. They come and go. But the truth of the matter is, we are to adhere to the law out of love for the Father. It is a tangible action. But the thing about the law is, it is the very thing that reveals to us that we are in dire need of that Messiah. Without the law, I have no standard. But with the law, I realize that this standard of the Father is absolutely impossible unless I have Messiah. And then Messiah, Jesus, he died, he resurrected, he rose, he died, he was buried, he rose again, he ascended into heaven to be at the right hand of the Father. But he said that it is better that he goes so that he could send the helper, which is the Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, the indwelling Spirit that dwells within us. And if we have that Spirit, we are to exude the fruit of the Spirit as we operate in the offices of the Spirit. Sorry, that's my lazy alarm. I'm sitting in the truck, just got back from the gym. Anyways, we're to operate in the Spirit, man. And Jesus said, you will know who belongs to me by their fruit. What is the fruit? It's the fruit of the Spirit, not the fruit of the Torah. There is no justification in the law. That is the very thing that tells me I need a Messiah. But the justification of the law, there is none. See, because and here's the thing. This is for the people out there that state, oh, well, you don't have to keep the law. Okay, if you take that thought to its fullest, most logical conclusion, you're telling me, so I have a wedding ring here. You're telling me that means nothing. I can commit adultery. Oh, well, that's one of, the great commands, like the 10 commandments, right? The first one is, you shall have no other gods before me. Right? So you're telling me that if the law is done away with, then I can just go ahead and worship whatever God I want. But as long as I believe in Jesus, I'm good. That's not right. That's not okay. Okay? You're telling me that it is okay for my children to completely dishonor me, or any child out there to completely dishonor and slander their parents and be utterly disobedient. That's not okay. That is a lot of the reason why this world, kids are so, now not all of them, because there's a lot of really good people out there, a lot of really good kids, but you can see it in the ones that aren't. And it breaks my heart, truthfully, to see kids who are utterly disrespectful to their parents or to elders or people in general surrounding them. So you're telling me that the law's done away with, then that's okay. It's okay for me to commit adultery or my wife to cheat on me and sleep with another man. That's not okay. Oh, but they believe in Jesus, so that's okay. No, not even remotely. Therefore, what has truly been done away with? Because even Jesus said that not a single jot nor tittle of the law or the prophets will be done away with until heaven and earth have been made new. Well, that hasn't happened yet either. As a matter of fact, that is the purpose of the millennial reign, to restore the earth back to its original form and teach. And Jesus will have the opportunity to teach mankind his laws and his commands to prepare mankind for the return of the Father. And he says, until that happens, my Torah will not pass away. So what did go? We do see a clear, defined definition people make the argument, oh, well, there's 613 commands. And this isn't about picking and choosing. This is about context. There's 613 commands. But what people fail to realize is out of those 613 commands, there's a lot of them that are specifically only for women. There's a lot of them that are specifically only for men. And then there's the vast majority of them are specifically for the Aaronic priesthood and temple service to the Most High. Oh, but when Jesus died, that veil was torn, allowing all mankind the opportunity to enter into the presence of the Father, when before it was only able to be entered in by the holy priest, by not the holy priest, the high priest. But Jesus has become that high priest for us. So there are no temple sacrifices. Not in this current day and age. Now there's a prophecy that when Yeshua returns and he establishes his reign on the earth, that will happen again. But it will be as a remembrance, as a teaching agent. But here and now, that veil has been torn so that to allow all mankind, anyone who would believe, would have the opportunity to enter in with boldness and thanksgiving into the throne room of heaven. Enter in like a child. The same way my 6-year-old, anytime he wants to come up to me, he had no holds barred, man. He's just like, I want to hug my daddy. If I'm sitting down and he wants to climb up in my lap, he's going to climb up in my lap with boldness. Whether it annoys me or not, he's going to. If I'm busy, he doesn't care. He just wants to hug me. He just wants to sit in my lap. That's what the Father provided for us through the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus, our Messiah. No man comes to the Father but through him, through the Son. Not righteousness in Torah. We keep the command simply because it is good to do so. It is good to honor the Father. It is good to only worship him. It is good to not have other gods before him. It is good not to envy. It is good not to steal. It is good not to commit adultery. It is good not to murder. These things are good. That's why we have the fruit of the Spirit. Love. Oh, wow. The first fruit of the Spirit being love. All the Torah and the prophets hang on this. Love God, love people. Therefore, when Jesus says you will know them by their fruit, you will know them as to whether or not they have love. Do they operate with love and joy and peace and patience, kindness, gentleness, trustworthiness, self-control, all 7 of them? Is that person joyful? Is that person kind? Kind and nice are not the same thing. Don't mix them up. Is that person kind? Are they gentle? You could even say meek. To where you see a tangible strength in an individual, but rather than choosing violence, they're like, no, there's a better route. Let's choose gentleness. Let's put that on the wayside. I subject my vengeance on the Father. Let him have it, because I am a peaceful individual. Doesn't mean that you're afraid to take up the sword. Doesn't mean you're afraid to fight. I say it a lot. I don't like to fight, but I'm not afraid to bleed, kind of thing. It's a mentality there. It's true, right? Are you peaceful? Are you gentle? Are you trustworthy? Is it clear? Can I see that you have self-control? That regardless of how much somebody pisses you off, you just hold back and continue to be kind. That regardless of how much you want to eat that donut, you choose, you know what? I really need to be drinking some water versus that sugary soda over there. And that's even basic, but self-control nonetheless, right? You know, there's so many spectrums of self-control. Can people take a look at you and tangibly see the fruit of the Spirit operating inside of you? You know why? Because Jesus said, or actually it was Paul in Galatians 5, said that against these things, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, trustworthiness, and self-control, these are good things, and because they're good, there is no law against them. Jesus came because it is better that we have the Spirit so that we can exude the fruit of the Spirit. And in thus exuding this fruit of the Spirit, it would be better for mankind. The reason being is because there's also offices of the Spirit where we can prophesy, we can speak in tongues, we can edify the brethren, we can teach and preach and operate in healing and say to another brethren, say to the lame, like Peter did, silver and gold, man, I don't have it. But what I do have, that Spirit operating on the inside of me, I give that to you. Now rise, take up your mat and walk. Bones be healed, every ligament be healed and made whole, every muscle be strengthened and quickened right now in the name of Jesus. Now get up. And you can say that with fervency and boldness, and it happen. See, because I would submit to you at the end of the age, that is what the Father is truly, tangibly looking for, is people who would operate in the Spirit and in the offices of the Spirit, exuding love. Because if you were exuding love, you're loving God and you're loving people all in one, fulfilling the Torah. Justification is not in the Torah, but it is in Christ alone. Christ alone. I will boast in the Lord my God. I will boast in the one who's worthy. I'm not worthy. Why should I boast in myself? Why should I boast in my works when righteousness of man is but filthy rags? Why would I boast in that? The law is good, but it does not bring any justification. It doesn't. So if you justify your life, people want to say, oh, well, how long have you been keeping the way? Right, narrow is the way and few shall find it. Are you keeping the way? Are you keeping the way? Are you keeping the way? I would submit to you that regardless of how much you keep the Torah and you call it keeping the way, if you are not filled with the Spirit and you are not operating in the fruit of the Spirit, you're not keeping the way. You're wrong. You're not. Read the Word. Yes, read the Word. Do what it says. Do Bible things, Bible ways. Absolutely wonderful. I would submit to you, because there is such a line in the sand. Oh, well, that's the big Christian church and that's Judaism, but I'm right here. Are you right here, right in that narrow way? Are you truly? Because a lot of people keeping Torah, I call BS. I call it. I don't mind telling you. Sorry, I got distracted. A couple of buns running across the yard up here. in 11 degrees. Keeping active. Yeah, I call BS, man. Because a lot of people in Torah justifying their life, completely push aside the spirit and love. Like a lot of the Torah movement, there is no love. Completely lacking joy. I've had a prophetic word for the Torah community multiple times with different individual communities over the years, where the Father put me in a situation and I was told to share a word, and each time it is, behold, you have left your first love. See, because when Jesus is talking to the Samaritan woman at the well, he says, the hour is come and now is where true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. So it's not just that the law is done away with. The curse of the law. The curse of the law is sin, which ultimately leads to death. What Jesus did was he provided grace and an abundance of mercy to cover the sin so that we are no longer subjected to that curse. But rather, by the blood of Messiah, we could stand here justified in him, that would allow us to walk into the heavenly throne room with boldness. But without that, and you're trying to justify your life based on the Torah, without love, without joy, without peace, you're not a peaceful individual. You certainly aren't patient. You're not kind. I can look at you, and this is a generalized you, but I can think of people off the top of my head where I'm like, I know you are not patient. I know you are not trustworthy. It's obvious you have no self-control. That's the fruit that we judge by. Oh, well, no man can judge me. You will know them by their fruit. I look at a man and judge whether or not they're operating in love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, trustworthiness, and self-control. If I don't see those things, and then I hear, oh, well, Torah this and Torah that, and my seats are long, and I've got the mikvah, and I'm blah, 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 nonsense after nonsense. And a lot of them want to push away Messiah. We only keep the Torah because it is good to do so. His righteous standard didn't just go away. It didn't. It is alive today for us to adhere to, for us to love the Father with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our mind and our strength, with everything within my being, to love the Most High. And with every bit of that same fervency, I am to love people the way I love myself, which implies that I should love myself too. Which all the more accentuates the fact that we need Messiah just to love. You were justified by nothing but the blood. No man comes to the Father but through him. And if you think otherwise, you're wrong. Shalom.